Now, as I came in here on Friday when we arrived, somebody said to me, "Oh, are you one of those nutters coming to the UFO conference?" And I said, "Are you one of those nutters coming here to lose your life savings in the casino?" I think there's this whole thing really now that people still regard us as a minority. They regard us as people who, have got a screw loose because we happen to believe in UFOs and aliens. A lot of this is because of the way the media have portrayed it. Little green men with big black eyes, that's it, the little greys. Do you think the media has done perhaps more damage to the subject of UFOs than it's done good?
There's no doubt about that they've done a lot of damage. Although I think I see things opening up. As the director of public education and doing the PR and a spokesperson for MUFON, during those years, of course, I took, and I continue to watch media very closely. I send out emails on the top headlines that are going on up there and watching what was going on. There are moments where some of the people, some of the media moguls, some of the people in media who everybody looks at are able to open up and share. During Stephenville, for example, there was a commentator on Fox News in the Fox newsroom, and his co-host asked, "Do you believe in UFOs?" And he took a second, and you can tell he was embarrassed, but he said, "You know what, I do." And then she went on and continued to talk. One of the most amazing pieces there, I thought, was when I can't remember which morning news show it was right now, but they were going to, it's the one with Matt Lauer and Al Roker and Ann Rice, and they were about to show their little piece on Stephenville, and Ann Rice said, "Do you guys believe in UFOs?" And Al Roker says, "Yeah." And she laughs and she says, and he says, "What are you laughing about?" And she says, "Well, you're saying you believe in UFOs when you don't." And he says, "Yes, I do." I said, "I do because I do." And she said, "Really? Do you believe they're flying around?" And Matt Lawyer said, "They probably are. That's what we would do. We would go check out these other cultures, and they're probably doing that here too." And the world still, people don't really grow up that much from high school. It's always everybody wants to do what the cool kids are doing. And when the cool kids are saying it's okay to believe in UFOs, I think that's an evolution. Of course, that was just a small window. The media has kind of gotten back into just making fun of this stuff. Poor Nick Pope, of course, he's even with the U.S. News, he's brave. He's a brave, strong little guy because he continues to go to Fox News and continues to let these guys beat up on him. But he's sharing credible information. So I think it's possible that the media can evolve. I have faith in that, seeing some of those things that happened around Stephenville. And I hope that we're able to continue to get good information out. One thing I notice as being the MUFON spokesperson is that when you give them credible information, they'll run with it. They don't want to make statements that are unsubstantiated. But if you tell them, there are presidents who have seen UFOs like Carter and Reagan, and you can point to the proof, then they're willing to. And an LA Times writer, for instance, did this, say there are presidents who have had sightings when she was talking about Kucinich. And these are those presidents, and here's what they had to say. So they'll go there if you give them the information where they can safely go there.
Well, I think this is the thing again. It's credible witnesses, and again, another speaker, Gary Hasseltine, was saying this on Sunday. Credible witnesses, pilots, astronauts, police officers. In fact, on the way down here on the shuttle from Vegas, we were discussing with Mary Rodwell some of the abduction theories that she has, and she was talking about the police and police sightings, and she was sitting next to a police officer who was travelling down here, nothing to do with this conference, who put his hand up and he said, "Yep, I've seen one." He said, "I got real trouble," he said, "when I told my bosses what I'd seen and was told not to put it out publicly." He said, "But I'll tell you now what I saw." So there's a lot of people out there that are good, what I would call Class A witnesses, who have seen UFOs that are afraid to come forward because of what they feel they'll have to justify amongst their fellow workmates and their superiors. And I think that's wrong, but it is changing. You're also right in what you say as well about the way that people's reactions are changing when these higher class witnesses, if you like, or higher class is probably wrong, Class A type witnesses are coming forward. And I think now we've got scientists getting involved. There was a recent conference in London that you may have heard about where the scientists were preparing for ET contact. What would we do if it happened? Now, when you start to get a scientific board of people in a room, in a big conference hall in London, the press take notice, there's no doubt about it. Do you think it's a case of we're just around the corner from actual contact now?
That is so difficult to say. And a lot of times people all feel that way. We're so close. We're so close. Stephen Bassett is here, and God bless him. He always thinks we're right around the corner. And it's partially, I feel, because I've learned from, Leo Sprinkle is someone I've got to work with, and he's a mentor of mine who I love to death, and he's been in this for decades. And he has the same perspective as some of these MUFON guys who have been around for decades, where they're like, when we got into this, when we were rolling back in the 60s and the 70s, we thought it was around the corner. Every year, we thought, oh man, we're going to do a talk in the UN, and they would go to the UN. I mean, Leo and the MUFON guys went to the UN and talked. They thought, this is going to break it open. Didn't happen. Carter, they thought, oh, this is definitely going to break it open. Didn't happen. So these guys have been where we are now, and they've made these bold actions that they thought was going to break it open. That didn't happen. And I think we always have to learn from history. And that's why I always feel that, when people were saying there were talks in the UN, there have been talks in the UN before. That didn't necessarily guarantee that something was going to happen. There's been talks in the White House before, but that didn't guarantee something's going to happen. So it's difficult to say. I just try to kind of focus on the here and now, and if we can continue to make these big events happen, get this credible information out there, hopefully one of these will break it open. But I don't know that there's necessarily any signal that it is that close. What I think is, when you're talking about the astrobiologists meeting in the UK and the Vatican meeting and all of these, even I just posted a story today about a royal scientist saying astrobiologist looking into extraterrestrial life. We may be close, and I think people are feeling close, even with NASA and with the European Space Agency, that we're very close to finding life, and possibly on Mars, possibly on the moon. And what does that say if the very closest rock to us has life? It may say that what someone else, I can't remember, was saying earlier today, but there's so many ufologists here, that life may not be the exception but the rule.
I think you could well be right. Now, if people want to find out more about Open Minds, you've got a website they can go to. You do a live stream from there as well. Tell us how they can find that.
Yep, just going to openminds.tv. There you'll be able to see archives from the radio show. You'll be able to see archives from the stream. You'll be able to see our magnificent interview with Ross Hemsworth from last night. That was a lot of fun. Just right there at openminds.tv.